A great project for every homeowner is changing an entrance lock. And the one thing you should know before going to the hardware store is from the edge of the door to the center of the hole, whether it's 2 3/8 or 2 3/4. And if you're in a community where you have an older hardware store and they don't have a lot of variety in locks, it's an important thing to know. Now, most locks will have an adjustable latch, so it'll adjust from 2 3/8 to 2 3/4. And it's good to look at the packaging. So the first step we're going to do is we're going to remove the body itself from the lock. In most of the new locks, on the inside of the door, you're going to have 2 screws that remove, and they'll either be on the sides or top and bottom. If you have an older home and an older lock and you don't see the screws, you could have this decorative plate here, this escutcheon, covering the screws. And the way you get to it is there should be a small hole on the inside of the handle here, and you'll take a paper clip and open it up, and you'll push it into that hole, and it will allow you to pull this knob right off the body, and then you'll be able to pull off this escutcheon and get to the screws. But in this case, and most of the newer locks that you'll find, the screws are exposed, so it's very easy to get to, and almost all of them have a Phillips screw, and it's a number 2 screwdriver you're going to be using. So we'll remove both screws here and pull off this side of the lock. Now that both screws are removed, it's very easy just to pull this side of the lock off, and then on the other side, again, we just have to pull it free and pull it out of the latch. You might have to turn the handle a little bit, and now we're exposing the latch. And to remove this, it's the same thing. We're just going to remove 2 Phillips screws. Now that the screws are out, all we have to do is pull out the latch, and it's that easy. And if you didn't have a notch in your door, and if it's rubbing and you need to create this notch, all you would use is a chisel and just pound it in the outline of the latch itself, and then tapping a hammer, you would slowly carve this out until it fits the depth of this plate on the latch, because you want it to set in there. So it's very easy to assemble the new lock. All we're going to do is put in the new latch, make sure it's set to the depth, and we're going to have the angle part facing the direction that we're going to be closing the door, and we're just going to slide it in, and then we're going to tighten it down with 2 screws into the door. Now to put the new body in, just want to make sure that you have the key side out, and this is a half moon shape. Some you're going to find in a square shape. There's different manufacturers, and so we just match this up with the latch and make sure the holes line up for the inside of the latch, and then we just put the other side on. Again, we're lining up the latch, and I had turned this to make sure the lock sets in place, and now we're just going to tighten it up. Now before I tighten it up, I'm just going to test the lock. I'm holding it in place, so this way it's locked, this way it's unlocked. And when I tighten this down, I want to make sure that this is centered. If I'm too high or too low, it's going to put pressure on the latch and it's not going to close properly. So I want to hold this up, center it, and then tighten my screws down. Now that the screws are tight, we just check the lock and make sure the latch moves very smoothly. If not, we would loosen these and then just adjust this up or down. So very easy do-it-yourself project to replace an entrance lock on your front door.